going to get started in a little bit here with a nice little Sunday morning stretch and flow. I'm just trying to see if I can share this. How to share? I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out later. But okay, let me see. Do a little yoga this morning. All right. So if you do jump in, say hi and leave me a little comment and maybe share with somebody who you think might also enjoy a little bit of yoga at some point. And yeah, let's get started. You can roll out your mat and grab a little quick space. It's not going to be a long practice, maybe half an hour, and we'll just breathe and stretch. I've got a couple little announcements. I'm starting up a YouTube channel to make it easier for everybody to stream this kind of stuff on their TVs and stuff like that. So hi. We'll be starting a stream on YouTube. I should probably drop that link in the chat. I'll do that at the end of class. But I just opened the YouTube channel last night, and YouTube, you have to have your channel for 24 hours before you're allowed to live stream. So that is what the deal is with that. I'm going to just find a quick link to that channel so that anybody who is interested can subscribe. I think YouTube is a little bit more accessible for people in general. So I'm going to start doing my live streams over there. All right, here we go. So YouTube link for everybody. There you go. So yeah, when you get a second, if you don't mind subscribing over there, I'm definitely going to be putting more content up. I did put a little video up there, which is yoga for your feet, which is great. So if you have sore feet or you want to strengthen your metatarsals, jump over to that YouTube channel and you can find it over there. So I'm going to get started with some little yoga stretch, breathe in stretch. Okay, my blocks over here. Okay, so find your mindful seat, and let me see if I can get rid of this little banner thing. I think you need to be able to see the whole thing. I'm using StreamYard for the first time. Has anybody ever used that? StreamYard, it's pretty cool. It lets you stream to multiple platforms at once if you pay them. I'm not paying them yet, but this is the free one. So please let me know about your experience with this. It should show up on my Facebook Live as if it's a live through native Facebook, but it's actually through StreamYard. All right, so coming into our mindful seat, we'll start to flow, start to let the breath flow, start to kind of calm down here into our little mindful seat. So just come sit cross-legged on your mat. You can prop yourself up with a blanket, or you can even use a block. Like a lot of times I'll just sit on something like this if I want to have a little bit more lift. And just rest your hands on your thighs. Breathe up tall, up through the crown of the head, gently drawing the shoulders back in space. And you close your eyes just to connect with yourself a little bit here. Allow the breath to deepen. It's Sunday morning, so I'd like to suggest, or it's Sunday morning here, I'd like to suggest that you set an intention for your practice and maybe even carry it throughout the rest of your day. And that would be to just try to stay rooted and connected. Try to stay in the moment. For me, it's going to, the practice is going to show up in being patient and compassionate with my children and not, not losing my patience or getting too busy with housework to really connect with them. So Sunday is a good day to reflect and connect. So maybe reflect on how you've been treating the people in your life, how you've been behaving, and take today to connect with somebody important. And that could even just be your own self. But, you know, taking time to connect with yourself, taking time to connect with a loved one in your life can be something really important, especially during this COVID life that we're living. So just rest your palms on your thighs, nice, tall, long spine. And as you deepen the breath, allow that connection to start to happen with your own self, checking in with yourself. You can think of your yoga practice as like a way of coming home to yourself. And I'll sing a little chant for you here. Bring the palms together to touch. This chant is a blessing for the practice. It basically means, may our practice be fruitful, and may we learn from each other. Om Sahana Bhavantu. Om Sahana Bhunaktu. Saha Viryam Garvavahai Tejasvinamaritammastu Maved Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow your head to your heart. Release the hands, open the eyes, lift the chin. Okay, so let's, with that kind of connection and reflection in our heart, let's get started with some movement. So I'm going to come off the block and just take a nice big side stretch. I'm going to plant the right hand down, reach up and over, nice big stretch. And we're going to dive it down in front of us and come around the other side. And as you come up, inhale, exhale, same thing, just sweeping across. It feels really nice on the low back. Exhale as you go across. Inhale, come up. And we'll stay here on the side for a reach. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sweep it across. And we'll stay for a breath. Inhale, extend. Exhale, reach. Good. And then inhale, come all the way up. And let's come up onto the knees. We'll just come in and stand on the knees and extend that right leg out to the side. I've got my back toes tucked under here. I don't think you can see it with the banner. The banner's kind of annoying, but if I put my foot out here, I've got my back toes tucked under and straight behind me. I'm going to slide this hand down as we come into the pose. So inhale, left arm up nice and tall. Exhale, slide your hand down your leg. And we'll inhale, come up just a little bit. Exhale, slide. Nice. And then come all the way back up. We'll switch sides. Nice little Parigasana variation here. plant your, or put your hand on your leg so it slides. Inhale, reach that right arm up, and exhale, leaning over. Take a nice deep stretch to the side, getting into this like low waist, side waist. Good, and then come all the way back up. And let's come into a nice little child's pose. So take the knees wide, bring the big toes together, take the feet down to your heels, and walk your hands out. Coming into child's pose. Let the body soften here. Just inhaling into the back body. And nice emptying exhale. Giving your body a moment to just release into the floor here. And when you're ready, we'll come all the way back up to all fours. Do a couple little cat-cow stretches. So inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly down, spine heart forward, lift the head, and then exhale, rounding out through the spine. And repeat. Inhale, exhale. Nice little cat-cow. And you can take variations on this, just maybe moving and stretching in ways that feel good for you. Like lately, I've been kind of liking this circular movement. So feel free to experiment. I always encourage my students to take ownership of their practice, because ultimately it's your body and you're the one who's in it, and you know what feels good and what feels best. So I'd encourage you all to take ownership of your practice. And by that I mean, listen to your yoga teachers, but also listen to your own body and do what feels good for you. I'm going to try moving my mat back a bit so that I can hopefully get more in the frame here. Okay. So let's come into our downward facing dog now. I'm going to walk the hands out, tuck the toes, and we'll come into downward facing dog with very bent knees. So I always recommend that we start down dog with these very bent knees. And the reason is so that you can focus on lengthening out the spine and we don't end up in like this kind of a shape. And then bend the knees, lengthen out the spine, send the bum like diagonally backwards, and press the floor away. Once you've got this kind of like pouncy feeling, like if you look forward, you can kind of pretend you're a cat and you're about to like pounce forward. That's the feeling that you want. And then you can work the legs towards straight. So it's early morning, take your time, bend and straighten the legs. Just give your body a little time to warm it up. And if you feel ready, you can work the legs towards straight. Otherwise, maybe just keep the knees as bent, like as little bent as feels right for you. So if you're like, oh, I always do it with straight leg, what's this bent leg thing? Come into the straight legs and then bend the knees just only as much as you need to get the spine straight. So if it looks like this, you only need to bend a little bit, and then you suddenly have the freedom to lengthen the spine more. That's all the more you need to bend. You don't need to be bent like way down here. I'm going to try to keep a stretch in the hamstring even if the leg is bent. And I find that most people who are new to yoga, that's really where they're at. They almost all need to work with a slightly bent leg. All right, let's warm up the shoulders a bit. Inhale, come forward to your plank. You can modify here by dropping the knees or stay up tall in this push-up position. Exhale, press it back. We'll do 2 more of those. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. So from here, we'll inhale the right leg up. And exhale. Step it forward between your hands. So however you can get it up there, come into your low lunge. And we'll take this left knee down, coming into Anjaneyasana, this mother of the moon pose. So here, hugging the legs in towards one another. Sink the hips down. Just pause here for a second, letting, on the left-hand side, this hip flexor is going to stretch out a bit. Take the left arm up nice and tall. I've got my right thumb and my right hip crease here, just guiding that right hip down in space. And then from here, we'll move into a twist. I'm going to show you two options. Option one is to just take the left hand to the ground and extend the right arm up. Option two, if you're feeling up for it, is to take this left elbow to the outside of the right knee and come into the twist like this. Bring the hands together, and you're trying to line your heart up with those hands, kind of like the prayer position. Maybe tilting the gaze up towards the ceiling, breathing into this nice twist. Just want to be careful here not to leverage the arms too strongly against the spine. Good, and then gently release from here, and we'll step that leg back, and we'll take our downward facing dog again. So from here, we're going to do the other side. I'm going to turn around so you guys can see me. You can stay where you are. We'll inhale the left leg up and exhale. Step it forward between your hands. Coming into this low lunge. And from here, take your right knee down. Just walk that hands up to your knee and take a second here to kind of settle into this. It's like a marriage proposal position, this Anjaneyasana. So as you're activating this, you're going to hug the legs in towards one another and just sink the hips down. For me, like, you may find that this hip is always like wanting to eke up. So put your thumb into your hip crease and just guide it down. And then from there, you can hug the legs in towards one another and sink the hips down from like a nice supported place. Reach your arm up. This feels really good and creates a lot of length in the spine. So enjoy this moment here. Don't rush through it. And then coming into the twist, you can either plant this hand on the ground and lift the left arm up, or if you feel like you have more space, you can bring that elbow to the outside of the knee, coming into this Anjaneyasana twist. Nice deep breaths here. Okay, and then gently release. Plant your hands down. We'll step back to our downward facing dog. Let's just flow through a little quick vinyasa here. Inhale, come forward to your plank. Lower down, so you can drop the knees first if you like, or just lower down to the belly. Flip the toes. Come up into your cobra. Just be gentle. This is early. Keep the legs nice and active. Feet pressing down. Good. Lower down and press back to your downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Walk the feet up towards the hands. Nice and slow. Coming into this hanging forward fold. Here, just let the head drop down. Soften the crown of the head down towards the floor. Shake your head no, and nod your head yes. Maybe shift the weight from side to side a little bit. Just trying to open up the hammies and the legs. You know, maybe bend and straighten a few times here to open up the backs of the legs. It's totally fine if you choose to keep the knees a little bit bent here. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Do that again. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale and fold. We'll take the arms out and up. Come all the way up to stand. Reach up nice and tall. Press the soles of the feet down into the ground and bring the hands to heart center. Looks like I can get most of myself into this picture. Sometimes it's like kind of nice to be a shorty. So here, gently pressing the palms into one another, drawing the shoulder blades onto the back, feeling the feet rooting down into the ground. You know, feel that sense of connection into the ground. And take a take a moment to just connect with yourself. Feel what it feels like to breathe. Feel what it feels like to be inside your own body. Hopefully you can connect with your own sense of power, your own sense of strength and goodness. Take this time to connect with yourself. There's a lot of things pulling at our attention, and it's hard to connect with yourself. So if I can help enable you to do that, that would be like mission accomplished. Okay, so from here, we're going to step one foot back, whichever foot allows you to keep facing me. We'll take a nice wide stance with the legs, and then we'll turn the toes in a bit. We're going to come into this goddess squat. So reach up tall. And we bend the knees. I'm going to bend the elbows. We're going to do 3 of these. So we're not going to stay until the 3rd one. Reach up tall, press down through the soles of the feet, bend the knees. We goddess squat. And this one we'll hold. And you can bring the thumb and forefinger together for this mudra. Take the gaze up a little bit. Working those legs. Channeling your own sense of fierceness, strength, and femininity. Good. And then reach up tall again. This time we'll do a side-to-side stretch. So bending the knees, coming down into that goddess squat, and then moving over to the right, elbow to the knee, reach up and over, and then same thing to the left. Reach. Beautiful. And then come all the way up to stand. You can shake out the legs. Then bring the base of your wrist into the hip crease. We're going to bend, I'm going to just bend the knees and straighten the arms as you come down. So you kind of traction out the spine here. And you can stretch side to side. We're going to dip the shoulder down in a second here. So when you're ready, we'll inhale. And then exhale, dip the right shoulder down. Turn the gaze around to the left. Again. Exhale, dip the left shoulder down. Good. And then come all the way up to stand. Okay. So now I want you to turn your heels out. Take a nice wide stance here, both feet parallel and facing forward. And then take your right foot and turn it out so that it's facing the front of your mat. And we're going to come into warrior 2. So as you bend into that front knee, make sure that it's tracking over the second toe. It's a nice deep bend. Good. And we're going for a vertical shin here. So open the arms out to the sides. Just breathing into your warrior 2 here. Not going to stay too long. Cultivating that sense of strength. Feeling groundedness and connectivity through the floor. Good. And then straighten through your leg. We're going to flip sides. So right foot points to the front and your left foot opens out to the side. Take a breath here. And then bend into your knee. There you go. Warrior 2 on the second side. Taking your gaze right over those left fingertips. Fire up the legs. Breathe into your strength in the legs. Nice. And then come all the way up. You can close your stance a little bit. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So depending on who you are, depends on how deep you go. So bring the hands on the hips. Inhale, lengthen, listen, lengthen in the heart. And then exhale, fold forward. So if you're tight in the hammies, you might want to grab blocks or just, only fold halfway. You want to keep your spine nice and long. You can soften the knees here, just like we do in the down dog, in order to keep the spine nice and long. Like this, it could look like this, it could look like, maybe the legs are straight and the spine is straight, but you just can't yet touch the floor, and that's totally perfectly good place to be. If you have more space, you can fold forward, walk the fingertips in line with the toes. Good. Bend and straighten the legs if that feels good for you. I'm feeling a little tight in my injured hammy this morning, so I'm just going to take it easy here. If you're using blocks, we're going to come into a twist. So the 2 variations would be either placing this left hand on the floor and opening up to the right, or maybe giving yourself a little more space, using the block, plant the hand on the block, and open it up that way. So whichever variation you're doing, place your left hand down and send the right arm up towards the ceiling. And if reaching up towards the ceiling feels like, oh my God, I can't, just take your hand to your hip and try to open that shoulder. Good. Release it down. We'll come into the other side. So planting the right hand down and extending the left up. Again, if you're using a block, looks like this. Nice. And then come down, bend the knees. We'll roll all the way up to stand. Take the shoulders up and back. Okay. Just going to do a couple more minutes with you here. Toe heel the feet together. We'll do a little dancer pose. So you might want to come to a wall for this one. Just taking the hand to the wall, kind of like you're ready to do ballet class or something, but stand with the feet parallel, left hand on the wall. I'm going to take the right foot up behind you, bring the knees together, scoop the tailbone, and we'll just pause here. Here, once you scoop that tailbone, you should feel a big stretch across the front of the quad and across the hip flexor. So we're just going to pause there, hugging the knees together, scooping the tailbone. And then if you have space to bend the elbow, watch you bend the elbow straight up behind you to keep the shoulder nice and open. Okay, not like this, where the shoulder comes forward. Open that shoulder back. And we'll just balance here for a second. Nice. And then release. We'll switch sides. Just little baby dancer, Natarajasana. We'll take the right hand to the wall, lift the left foot up. Bring the knees together. Scoop that tailbone. Good. Lift up through the heart. Lift up through the crown of the head. Those points of connection will help you keep your balance. So that tailbone nice and scooped, big stretch happening in the front of that quad, and this elbow bending straight up towards the ceiling. And see if you can let go of the wall and find some balance here. Maybe look up towards the ceiling, breathing deeply into the chest. Good, and then gently release. Okay. So if I was doing a full length class, now would be the time when I might go upside down on the wall, but instead we're just gonna zoom into a couple hip openers and our final relaxation. So I'm gonna take a second and try to get this banner off. Don't know how to do that. There we go. Well, at least if I make my name shorter, you can see more of it. Let me see. Okay. So we'll keep going here. Let's do a couple little hip openers and then our final relaxation. All right. So here, bring the soles of the feet together. Nice little Baddha Konasana. Press the soles of the feet together. Take hold of the ankles. Lift and lengthen in the spine. And then exhale, fold forward. Just breathing here, lengthening out through the crown of the head. So inhale, lift and lengthen up through the crown of the head, and then exhale, fold. Try to keep some of that length. Nice. And then inhale, come all the way up. I'm going to open the legs out to the side for a nice little side to side stretch. in this wide-legged seated pose. So sliding the right hand down, reach the left arm up and over. Nice big side stretch here. You can take the first two fingers between the first two toes. That can be kind of nice because you can sort of hug yourself in a little deeper. If not, just letting your hand be on your leg wherever that reach is for you, that's perfect. You want to feel supported here. You want to feel like you can breathe. Then come up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Reach. Again, if you can reach those first two fingers between the first two toes, that can feel good. Kind of hug yourself in and over. All right, and then come up. We'll take walking the hands forward. So I'm still like having a little hammy injury here. So I'm just going to walk forward gently a little bit. I'm going to try and keep my legs straight, spine long. If you can fold more, go right ahead. Otherwise, just mimic what I'm doing. And then walk yourself back up. Okay, and let's just gently bring the feet together. If you have blocks, this is a great way to use the blocks. We're going to do a supported fish pose. If you don't have blocks, you can roll up your mat and place it behind your heart, or you can prop yourself up with pillows. But I'm going to suggest like this on the medium facet for your blocks, and I'm going to try to aim my the base of my shoulder blades on this one and the back of my head on this one, and I'll show you how I come down and adjust this as I go. So I'm going to reach this block with my hands and just make sure that it stays steady as I lay myself out on it. So that one's fine right underneath my shoulder blades. This one under my head does need a little adjusting. So we want that to be right behind like the back of the head. And then open the arms out to the sides, straighten your legs, let the shoulders kind of drip down towards the floor. Make any adjustments that you might need to make, and just relax here for a couple moments, allowing your body to soften. Maybe mentally giving yourself a pat on the back for making it to yoga class. And you can continue to relax here. I'm going to come out and sing a little chant for you. And we can wrap up. We'll see maybe next time. So from here, just stay laying down, relaxing. I'm going to sing a little chant that I love. Just going to sing the, which one am I going to sing? I'm going to sing the Om Tara chant, which is a chant to the goddess Tara. I'm not like the most expert on the Hindu deities, but I do know that Tara is seen as like a navigational leader or a guide through times of transition. And so I've been really liking this chant lately because I feel like we're all transitioning into a new normal every day maybe, or every couple weeks. And that seems like it's going to continue. So I'll sing this chant for that. And you can continue to lay down on your, if you want to lay flat instead of in that supported fish, then that's also a great option. Om Tara Sutare Ture Soham. Om Tara Sutare Ture Soham. Om Tare Sutare Ture Soham. Om Tara Sutare Ture Soham. Om Tara Sutare Ture so hum. Om tare tu tare tu re so hum. Om tare tu tare tu re so hum. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Continue to enjoy your relaxation pose as long as you can and as long as it feels good for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Lots of love. Namaste.